for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's get ready for football!
See, had you not said anything, they were all standing there again. As if they didn't know when they ended the Pledge of Allegiance.
No, that's why I had to say, let's get ready for football.
I know, that was great. Shorewood's here next week.
Yeah. Who did they get Middledale? Oh my God. It's going to be a running clock.
Yep.
Whole second half.
It's March. It's Friday. It's 2021. It must be time for some Wesco 3A football tonight. Wesco 3A / football, rather. Good evening and welcome from Edmonds Stadium. It's a little bit of a different year, but we're still here to bring you some action tonight, and we're looking forward to it. Two football teams looking for their first victories of the season. Two teams excited to be back out there on the field doing what they love so much, and we're ready to cover it tonight. My name is Steve Willits, joined by Angelo Camo up here in the booth, Jamie Stockmer. We've also got Jim and Andrea Dahlman working the cameras for us tonight. We got a full team here ready to go, ready to bring you some football. Ready to see which one of these teams can get their first victory of the season. Cedarcrest wearing the road white jerseys. They're the Red Wolves. They come all the way over from Duval. And, of course, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks just right down the road on 212th over on 44th Avenue. Home stadium right here. We're in those home reds and white helmets. Game earlier tonight, we just got done broadcasting. Linwood defeating Shorewood, 41-14 final score. We'll be sure to bring you starting lineups here momentarily as Mountlake Terrace prepares for kickoff. Number 77, Seloni Tonga is your actually kicker. That's what we normally have here. However, it looks like Angel Rodriguez, number 99, will handle the kicking duties, at least the kickoff duties. Stay tuned for that, as Tonga is the place kicker. The ball is kicked, and we are underway. Fielded at the 22-yard line. The Red Wolves returning that ball for a gain of only 4 yards. Nice job by the Hawks there. Number 22, Jay Nath. All-league player from last, tackling Luke Marsh, the 6'2", 152-pound wide receiver / DB on the return. And we welcome everybody watching tonight, whether you are in South Snohomish County, whether you're in Duval or elsewhere. Certainly, we welcome you. I'll try to hop on YouTube here from time to time and see what kind of comments we're getting. We'll try to interact as much as we possibly can, if at all. A little bit of a challenge here as because of the pandemic, kind of doing everything as a one-person show here as far as the broadcasting and scorekeeping. So we'll do what we can when we can. So first play of the game, ball is thrown up in the air. Ball is picked off. Mountlake Terrace coming away with it. Number 4, Cole Waldrop. I should say you've been asked tonight to change things up here a little bit. Cole Waldrop Leathers. He wants to hyphenate his name from moving forward here. The quarterback for Mountlake Terrace, playing defensive back, and gets his own pick there so he can bring his offense onto the field. So nice job for the DB / QB. They're going to call an ineligible player downfield on the offense on the play. One of the offensive linemen releasing early. Doesn't matter. The Hawks are going to go ahead and decline that one. And Waldrop Leathers ready to bring his offense out for their first play from scrimmage here. One play in, one turnover for the Hawks. Number 4, handoff to his running back. That's number 5, Ethan Dunn. Dunn, the 6'1", 185-pound tailback. Dunn plays a little bit of everything. He's actually listed. He's been a wingback. He's been a running back. Tonight he's a running back, so he will be playing that tailback position. A position that he often shares with Jake Meeks. We expect that we might see Matthew Gisese back there as well tonight, so stay tuned for that. Dunn, 1 carry, 1 5-yard pickup. little bit of a mix-up there. Waldrop keeps it himself. Waldrop leathers. I'm going to have a hard time getting used to that. We'll get there eventually. Looked like that might have been a little bit of an option play. He had the option to either give it to Dunn or keep it himself. Likes to keep the ball. Gets 2 yards, so that's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 right now for the Hawks. We already mentioned Waldrop Leathers and Dunn, your quarterback and running backs. In the slot, number 2, Landon Woolley. Your wingback is number 7, Lorenzo Ipunike. Wide receiver, number 11, Eli Dahlman. We'll get you the rest of the lineup here in just a moment. 3rd and 3 coming up. Hawks in the shotgun formation. Cedarcrest showing blitz. Trying to bring it. Waldrop Leathers, nowhere to run to. Nowhere to hide. Down he goes. Mac Miles in on the tackle, as was number 56, one of the captains, Rylan McPhee, 6', 198 senior. Miles is also a senior, so they're going to push the Hawks back to the 49-yard line. We're looking at a 4th and 9. Mountlake Terrace not going to mess around with this one. They're going to go ahead and bring the punt team on. Angel Rodriguez. No, actually, we're going to get this mixed up tonight. It looks like we now have Tonga back in at number 77. Very similar builds, very similar looking numbers with those double 9s and double 7s. Our PA announcer, Tom Davis, who's doing a phenomenal job, but called out the wrong kicker there. I did as well, so we finally got that one established. So Tonga back to kick. Hawks getting called for a 5-yard penalty. They're going to get pushed back a little bit further. So 2 quick possessions for both teams. The Red Wolves throwing a pick on their first play from scrimmage. Hawks going 3 and out. Tonga with a nice booming kick. It's going to hit down around the 27 and take a Mountlake Terrace bounce. Finally fielded by Ambull, number 6. And he's finally taken down right around the 23-yard line. And Cedarcrest now with their 2nd possession of the night, bringing their offense back out onto the field. Starting quarterback for Cedarcrest, Deuce Knowles, number 4. Knowles is a 6'1", 170-pound senior. Let's see what they elect to do this time around. Cedarcrest coached by John Fiala, former NFL football player, former Washington Husky standout. They're going to call a running play this time, and this time they're going to move the chains. Nice job by the Cedarcrest Red Wolves there. That was Peyton Burpee, all-league running back last year as a junior, back as a senior now, 5'8", 142, and you can see he is lightning quick. 14 yards for Burpee on his first carry of the game. And the Hawks looking at taking on this team one more time on a 1st and 10 situation here. Knowles hands off to Burpee. Burpee out to the right side. Very quick, as we already established. Gets past the 40-yard line over to the 42. A gain of 4 on the play. Number 54, Xavier Lake, getting credit with the tackle. 5'8", 220-pound junior linebacker for the Hawks. Burpee one more time, 3rd straight running play. Not going to get quite as much this time as he does get past the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up a yard or perhaps 2 on the play as they give him credit out to the 45-yard line. And we get a very late flag. A lot of action going on between 2 particular players for Cedarcrest and for Mountlake Terrace. Mac Miles for Cedarcrest, kind of getting into it a little bit with Demarion Turner, number 55. Little extracurricular after the play. And they're going to get Turner for that. Now, those 2 guys really going after each other. They're on the play and even a little bit afterwards. And initially, it looked like the referees were going to let him kind of have it and get it out of their system. But apparently, Turner not stopping as quickly as they wanted him to. And incidentally, that's going to move the ball 15 yards down the field and put Cedarcrest into Mountlake Terrace territory for the first time tonight. Your Cedarcrest starting offense, we've already mentioned Deuce Knowles, the quarterback, number 4. Peyton Burpee is number 2. Matthew Weinert was an all-league tight end last year. He's wearing the number 88. Your starting wide receivers are number 5, Luke Marsh, number 26, Luke Ample, number 16, Jordan Ayers, and your offensive line, left tackle, Charlie Villum. He's number 68. Number 52, we've already mentioned Mac Miles a little bit. Number 56, Ryan McPhee is your center. Mario Narcio Felix is number 75. He's your right guard. And your right tackle is number 65, Anthony Welker. Get to the Mountlake Terrace defense here in just a moment. Also try to give you some of the jersey numbers that were changed at the last minute here, so I'm going to have to double check those before I read those off to you here. As Cedarcrest now, after that 15-yard penalty, into Hawk territory. Knowles is going to keep it himself right up the middle. Finds a path out past the 35-yard line, gets ahead to the 33, maybe the 34. A gain of 6 on the play for the QB, calling his own number for the first time tonight, and Tonga makes the tackle on the play. These two teams playing back in 2019 on homecoming night for the Hawks. A game that ended with a 14-13 Red Wolves victory. Difference in that game being a missed extra point. Both teams having 2 touchdowns in the game. On what was a very rainy, chilly night. A game that was delayed at one point during the second quarter due to a thunderstorm, or lightning, I guess we should say. Once they saw the lightning, they had to delay it for 30 minutes and kept things delayed for a little bit as Burpee, with yet another run up the middle there, picks up 3, make it a 3rd and 1. Burpee 4 carries for 23 yards here in the early going. Second drive of the game for Cedarcrest. Again, their first drive ended in a 1-play out interception. Burpee with the handoff, finds space, finds more. He's using those wheels into the end zone. 31 yards later, Peyton Burpee with the touchdown. The Red Wolves out to an early 6-0 lead with 6:59 to go here in the first quarter. Peyton Burpee, lightning fast. If you give him an opening, you're going to have a hard time catching him, and that's exactly what happened. Nice job on the left side of the line. Gave him a little bit of a hole, found his way through it, and he just turned on the wheels, and off he went. Peyton Burpee, 31 yards out, 54 yards on that drive on 5 carries. And now we've got Jay Newell out there to try the PAT out of the hold of Knowles. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 5 minutes and 1 second into this game, Cedarcrest strikes first. It's time to find out if Mountlake Terrace can answer. You're watching Hawk TV on HBN. And welcome once again back to Edmond Stadium. Cedarcrest Red Wolves out to a 7-0 lead, and you are watching Hawk TV on HBN. Looks like Rudy Gupta up in Canada watching, apparently cheering on Jay Nath. Rudy, glad to have you here. Hope all is well on the other side of the border there and that everybody is safe and healthy. Also got Shenanigans watching, saying let's go Burpee. No doubt a fan of Peyton. Number 2 doing Shenanigans proud there early on. Nice return there. Ethan Dunn out past the 40-yard line, still dragging tacklers. Finally brought down right over to the 45-yard line, perhaps at the 46 even. Ethan Dunn, your tailback, giving his offense a chance with better field position there and bringing that ball all the way out, and see what the Hawks can do on their second possession now. Showing a little bit of life there early on until they got that penalty called against them on 3rd and short. And And we'll find out what we can do here. Again, still trying to get some of our numbers here. So I'll give you the starting lineup for the Hawks here in just a moment, as a few jersey numbers changing on their side of things tonight. Give you the Hawks offense as well as the Cedarcrest defense. We still owe you a Mountlake Terrace defense as well, so plenty of time. We're going to be here for a while. Waldrop Leathers looking to throw deep. He's got a man down the field. He's got a catch. Elijah Dahlman coming down with the grab. We're hoping the camera crew got that one because Mom and Dad are working the cameras up here tonight. I think Jim and Andrea like that. 23 yards. Dahlman actually on the 26. I shorted him a few. 28 yards for Dahlman. Nicely done there. Number 11 making a big catch there. Beautiful pass there by Waldrop Leathers. 26-yard line. The Hawks looking to try to respond to that Cedarcrest touchdown. Already deep in Cedarcrest territory. We're coming upon the halfway mark through the first quarter. Hawks shifting around a little bit. A handoff and nothing happening there. It's number 21, Meeks, getting his first carry of the night. Stuffed by number 64, who, of course, isn't on my roster. So we apologize for 64, whoever you are. Great play there. Going to spot Meeks just a bit short of the original line of scrimmage. Brings up a 2nd and 10. Ryan Doherty watching tonight, rooting for number 25. And there's a run right up the middle. Dunn trying to get some of that yardage back off the left tackle. Inside the 25-yard line, right down around the 24, pickup of 2. Ian Sen is number 25. We appreciate all of you watching tonight. 24-yard line. Hawks looking at a 3rd and 8. Kind of in that no man's land area. You're not going to punt from the 24, and more than likely you're not going to kick a field goal. It would be a 41-yarder from here. Especially as the temperature drops, it gets a little bit harder to kick that ball that much further. Probably 4-down territory. We'll find out here if the Hawks even need it. Waldrop Leathers, the quarterback. He's going to keep it this time. Looks to go out to the left, and he's not going to go very far. In fact, he goes backwards on the play. John Madigan, number 35 on the tackle, the junior linebacker, was not fooled at all. Is faked the handoff to Dunn. Waldrop Leathers kept it himself. Hawks losing, we're going to call it losing 5 yards on that play. Back to the 31-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th and 15. A loss of 7 on the play. Keeping the offense on the field. Got to get to the 16-yard line for a 1st down. Waldrop Leathers looking deep. Looking. Penalty marker is thrown. 2 penalty markers are thrown. And the ball was caught. I don't know if he was out of bounds or not. I didn't see anything over there in terms of the referee making a signal. Landon Woolley was the intended receiver. Caught it right along the sideline. I've got to think that these penalties more than likely are on Mountlake Terrace. Now the question becomes if he caught the ball or not. He did not. It was a holding call. Cedarcrest will decline. And therefore, that will be a turnover on downs. Hawks giving the ball back to Cedarcrest. And for the 3rd time tonight, the Red Wolves offense coming out onto the field. This time they will start at their own 31-yard line. Fumbled. Ball is down. The Hawks pick it up. The Hawks are running it back to the 10 inside the 5 and finally brought down at the 4. And again, up here doing the game by myself here, I would look down for a brief moment, and next thing you know, I looked up and the ball's going the other way. Dylan Wallace wearing the number 65 tonight. He's normally a tight end. He's been wearing the number 8 earlier in the year. Wallace playing linebacker, picked up the fumble, ran it all the way back to the 4-yard line. So for the second time in 3 possessions, Cedarcrest turns the ball over on one play.
20 yards on the fumble recovery by
Feast or famine for the Red Wolves tonight. Interception on one play, a drive for a touchdown on the second drive, and then he fumbled that results in the Hawks taking over on their opponent 4-yard line. Pass out into the flat, incomplete. Jay Nath, the intended receiver on the play. Continue to watch here. Christian Ipanikwe, rooting for Lorenzo, watching there. I see you on the comments there. Thanks for being here tonight. 2nd and goal coming up for the Hawks. Pass was incomplete. Hawks bringing the offense back up to the line of scrimmage. Trip set out to the right, whistle blown. And we're going to get a Mountlake Terrace Hawks timeout. We'll keep it right here for a moment, try to get you caught up on a few things. Mountlake Terrace's starting lineup tonight is as follows. We've already mentioned Cole Waldrop Leathers. He's your quarterback. Ethan Dunn, of course, the running back. Landon Woolley had a pass attempt for him a moment ago. He's the slot receiver. Eli Dahlman, who came up with the big catch earlier. And we just mentioned Lorenzo Ipanike, number 7. Your offensive line is Xavier Lake at left tackle. He's number 54. Number 65, Dylan Wallace is your left guard. Caden Hinckley, number 70. He's your starting center. Your right guard is number 56, Eddie Dodgen. And your right tackle, number 77, Saluni Tonga, with your tight end tonight, number 22, Jay Nath, who was the intended receiver on that last play. Get to the Cedarcrest defense here in just a moment. Getting scores from around the league right now. Glacier Peak leading Snohomish 14-10 at halftime over at Snohomish Veterans Memorial Stadium. A big rivalry game there. Good to have football back. A lot of movement along the line there. That almost looked like was that a flop there? I'm not sure what Caden Hinckley just did. A little bit of a delayed reaction there. Caden, you may not want to see that one on video later. I don't know what that was, but we're going to get an encroachment call, so that's going to move it half the distance. And we start to look here now. Cedarcrest defense. We've already mentioned some of these guys. There are a lot of two-way players here. Your defensive line, Matthew Weinert is number 88. He's one of your defensive ends. On the other defensive side, you've got Rylan McPhee, number 56. Starting nose guard, Mario Narciso Felix. He's wearing the number 75. Alex and Cisco Navarro, number 51, is your other defensive tackle. We'll get you the rest here in just a moment. Handoff up the middle, into the end zone. Ethan Dunn. Touchdown, Hawks. Mountlake Terrace getting on the board for the first time tonight with a chance to do the equalizer here. They are a PAT away from tying this game up with 3:31 to go in the first. Finishing out that defense for you for Cedarcrest, your linebackers, Ethan Wheaton is number 54, Ryan Olson, number 44, he's the middle linebacker, and then Caleb Meyer is the weak side linebacker. Your cornerbacks, Chester Brackenbush is number 10, Peyton Burpee, number 2, and your safeties, or your safety, Luke Ample, number 26. The PAT, we get flags all over the field, and we got a new kicker in there right now as well. 81, Camden Disney, the sophomore out there. Hawks mixing it up a little bit here. We've got Rodriguez doing the kickoffs. We've got Tonga doing the punts. Disney apparently doing the PAT work tonight. Let's see what the flag is here. Oh, Mountlake Terrace is going to be called for a chop block. That's going to move this ball back 15 yards. And suddenly your 20-yard point after touchdown attempt becomes a 35-yard kick. And in a game this close, that's it's not something you want to deal with. And keep in mind, again, the last time these two teams played, the final score, 14-13. Difference in that game, Cedarcrest converted both of their point after touchdowns. Mountlake Terrace missed one. So here we go. Take two time right now, and Disney runs off the field. Apparently the Hawks recognizing that this might be a little too far back for a point after touchdown attempt. They're going to go for two. Put it up in the end zone. Why not? Waldrop Leathers back out there at quarterback, Dunn in the backfield. Got a two receiver set out to the left. Landon Woolley playing the slot. Ipanike playing in that wingback spot over on the right. He now goes in motion. Three receiver set over to the left. Looking in that direction, throwing into the end zone. Dahlman goes up. Did he come down with it? He did not. Give a lot of credit to the defender there, Luke Marsh, as Dahlman for a moment looked like he was in the right position. Would have been a very tough catch, but he got his hands on it. Marsh, however, wise enough to get up there with him. Looked like he might have gotten a hand on it. Dahlman not able to come down with the football. And consequently, Mountlake Terrace still trailing Cedarcrest here 7-6 with 3:31 to go here in the first quarter. Again, the biggest play of the game thus far, no doubt the chop block on the point after touchdown. That was good. It would have stood at 7-7. They called it, cost you 15 yards and put you out of place kicking position, forcing you to go for that too. Tough play there. And Angel Rodriguez once again teeing the ball up, getting ready to kick off. And Cedarcrest presumably will take their offense onto the field for the fourth time tonight. Again, two of the first three have ended in one-play drives, a touchdown or a interception and a fumble, and a nice return on the play as Luke Marsh finding a lane and just taking off there. Gets past the 45-yard line, tackled at the 46, same spot that the Hawks took over on their last possession. And once again, Deuce Knowles brings the offense back out onto the field. I have a feeling we're going to see a little more number two here. Peyton Burpee, in that second possession, he had 5 of the 6 touches. Ended up with 54 yards, including a 31-yard touchdown. And, of course, as soon as I say that, that's not the case. They're going to go to Jaden Prone on the play, it looks like. Number 8, and a late whistle here. Prone with his first carry of the night. Listed as a 6', 152-pound junior. Prone tackled right around where the first down marker is. It was almost 10 yards even. In fact, we'll give him 10 on the play. I was going to say, the way that those players were clapping out there, Cedarcrest knew it right away. As soon as that flag went up, they knew that the infraction was against that team in red over there. So Mountlake Terrace giving Cedarcrest a free 15 yards on top of the 10 from the run itself. 25 yards right there. And just like that, Cedarcrest already in striking position again. 30-yard line of Mountlake Terrace with 3:16 to go. Here in quarter number 1. More scores coming in from around the league. Arlington ahead of Stanwood 10-0 at halftime. That's the game known as the Stilley Cup, always a big rivalry game. We'll continue to monitor other scores that are taking place around the area tonight. Big Wesco matchups. Knowles keeping it, not finding anywhere to go. The Hawks closing that gap very quickly. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Ethan Dunn, number 5 on the tackle once again. On a very clear night out here, Edmond Stadium. Definitely has that feel of early March, though. When it gets warm during the day, it feels great, but then when it starts to cool down, it drops quickly. Not quite to the spring yet. However, we're getting closer. Like in these longer days, too. Hand off to Prone. Runs around the right side. Dropped from below there. That's number 3 on the tackle. Kobe Davis coming off the edge there. getting prone low, flipping him over and dropping him at the 26, but not before he picks up. We'll give him 4 yards on that play. Going to bring up a 3rd and 6 for the Red Wolves. A little under 2 minutes to go here now in the first quarter. Red Wolves making a late substitution. Need to get to around the 20-yard line for the first down. Fakes the hand up to Prone, keeps it himself this time. Knowles looking for room out to the left, turns the corner, gets the first down and a little bit more, and is finally popped out of bounds, but not until he gets inside the 15-yard line. Nice job by Cedsrcrest to step up to make the hit, but Knowles on a nice RPO running for 12 yards and picking up a first down. And I've got to be honest, I'm trying to look along the sideline here and don't want to alarm anybody just yet. Oh, I found, okay, never mind. I was going to say I'm looking for Peyton Burpee, and I was having a hard time finding him, but he is standing right along there on the sideline. Again, Burpee on that second possession of the game, 5 carries for 54 yards, including a 31-yard touchdown, and haven't seen him out there since on offense. Prone with another running play. This time he's going to get down to the 11-yard line as he runs off of right tackle over there. Perhaps giving Prone, who's also a great back in his own right there, a little extra carry time there. Mountlake Terrace's defense, by the way, they're running a 3-4. Your defensive line, number 70, Caden Hinckley. Number 77 is Tonga. We've already mentioned him a few times. And Demarion Turner, number 55, is your defensive end. Your linebackers tonight, Dylan Wallace, number 65, and Xavier Lake, number 54, are your inside backers. Outside backers, number 5, Ethan Dunn. Jay Nath, number 22, is your other outside backer. Pass over the middle, incomplete. Just off the fingertips of the intended receiver. Luke Amble, one of your captains, the junior, was open. Just overshot him by just a little bit of a smidge off the top of the fingertips, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 6. The rest of your Mountlake Terrace defenders, number 7, Lorenzo Ipanike. He is one of your corners. Your other corner is Cole Waldrop Leathers, your quarterback, who is also already has a pick tonight. Landon Woolley, number 2. And we're going to get another running play on 3rd down, interestingly enough. The Hawks sniffing that one out. Prone gets ahead to the 7-yard line, a gain of 4 on the play. And to round out your Mountlake Terrace defense, your other safety, it's number 1. And that would be Matthew Cedsrcrest. 4th down and 3, 8-yard line. Clock ticking down, 2 seconds, 1 second. It's going to come down to the end of the first quarter here. There we go, 000. The whistle has blown, and we've got a very interesting play coming up here next. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Cedarcrest already with a 1-point lead, looking for more. 4th down and 3 coming up from the 8. We'll take a quick break and be right back. You're watching HBN on Hawk TV. And we head to the second quarter of action here from Edmund Stadium. Cedarcrest out to a 7-6 lead. Both teams exchanging touchdowns in the first quarter. The difference, Mountlake Terrace being called for a chop block on their PAT attempt. Had to redo the kick from 15. Actually went for 2 after that from 15 yards back and couldn't convert. That's the difference of the game right now. But right now, Cedarcrest with a 4th and 3 from the 8-yard line. We get whistles, and we're going to get a timeout, I believe. Tony Umayam, the head coach at Mountlake Terrace, seeing something he didn't like, so he wants to call a timeout. Second timeout for the Hawks already here in the first half. Umayam in his second tenure as the head coach for Mountlake Terrace. Former MTHS grad, class of 1990. Had a solid football career in his own right. Ended up playing cornerback at Willamette University down in Salem, Oregon. Had stints as an assistant coach with Mountlake Terrace, Jackson, and Mercer Island before getting hired as the head coach for Mountlake Terrace in 2004. Held that position until 2015. Decided he wanted to step away and spend a little time with family. Did so for a few years, and when the job opened up again last year, he reapplied and is now in year number 2 of tenure number 2. Only coach in Mountlake Terrace history to coach the team to a playoff win. State game against Capital down in Olympia back in 2015, I believe it was. Should know we were there broadcasting it that day. 14-7 Hawks win. And trying to put his stamp back on this team again and get them going in the right direction. Looking for their first win of the year. 4th and 3 coming up. Here we go. Handoff up the middle. The Hawks stuffing the hole. 3 of them. All sending the running back backwards. Ethan, Jay. Not sure who else was in there, but we had a few different Hawks making sure that Burpee wasn't going anywhere on that play. Mountlake Terrace denying Cedarcrest a chance for a first down or a touchdown. Hawks will take possession here with 11:55 to go in the second quarter. Hawks taking over on their own 9-yard line. Mountlake Terrace in their first 3 possessions, a punt, a loss of downs, and a touchdown. Let's see what they can do here on possession number 4. They go the length of the field on this one. Waldrop Leathers hands off to Dunn. Trying to find some room on that right side. Doesn't find much. Does get out past the 10-yard line. Give him 2 on the play. Ethan Dunn unofficially 11 yards on 4 carries so far today. Waldrop Leathers heading over to the sideline, bringing the play in himself. Mountlake Terrace, we just mentioned Umayam, a Mountlake Terrace alum. The coordinators also alums. Keith Willie and Matt Terwilliger, both graduated from Mountlake Terrace, both playing for the Hawks back in the day. Another handoff to Dunn. This time he tries to sweep outside to the right. Puts a little stiff arm on one of the defenders and gets out past the 15-yard line. They'll tackle him down there at the 15. Give him a 4-yard gain on the play. Chester Brackenbush, number 10, making the stop. 5'7", 152-pound senior. Both of these teams getting off to rough starts last week. Mountlake Terrace losing to Edmonds Woodway right here at the stadium. Cedarcrest dropping a game, getting shut out by Cascade. A very much improved Cascade Bruins team. Jordan C. doing a nice job over there with them. Ran into a buzzsaw last week. Michael Pearl, really good running back, had almost 200 yards rushing. Pearl, a back who was kind of stuck on the depth chart there up until this year. Last year he was sharing time with Deontay McMillan Murphy, and when McMillan Murphy got hurt last year, Pearl actually had a 300-yard game late in the season. I believe that might have been against Mariner. I know he had 300 yards anyway, so no shame there. A really good player, as the Hawks are going to once again burn a timeout. And we'll take a quick moment here to talk a little bit about some of the other games around the league tonight. It is a loaded schedule. And got to mention this first. As much as we love having football back, and I think you overlook some of the deficiencies, if you will, of the schedule from last week, it wasn't good. 11 Wesco football games last week. 7 of them ended in shutouts. 10 of the 11 games had games in which the losing team had 7 points or less. And the one team that lost a game that scored more than that It was Everett, and they lost by 24 points to Kamiak. So a schedule tonight that looks much more favorable in terms of a competitive balance anyway. So we'll give you that schedule here in just a minute. A lot of rivalry games throughout Snohomish County tonight. See what the Hawks can do here. 3rd and short, a handoff to Dunn. Short, but not that short. Dunn's only going to get a couple of yards. There may be 1 or 2. Going to leave him a couple yards short on the play. Miles making the tackle. Like Terrace with a tough decision here. 4th and 2, you're inside your own 20. If you want to keep those chains going, you go for it. But at the same time, in a close game, you're in your own area. Not even going to mess around with it. Mr. Tonga going to step back, ready to punt.
Ball swing at the Terrace, 17, 4th and 2 for the Hawks.
And for the second time tonight, Tonga looking to kick this ball down the field. High snap over Tonga's head into the end zone. He's got nobody around him. Does he recognize it? He's going to pick it up, try to kick it. Ball is blocked, bouncing around right on the goal line there. Let's see who comes up with it. It's either a touchdown or perhaps a safety. Oh, they're saying, or neither. The ball ends up at the 1-yard line where Cedarcrest falls on it, and they're going to have it 1st and goal, inches from another touchdown here. Ball went over Tonga, bounced around in the end zone. He finally picked it up, recognized he didn't have anybody around him at first, decided to try to run initially, ran a couple of steps, and then decided to give it a shot at kicking it out of the end zone. Unfortunately, at that point, defenders around him, he rushed his kick, he shanked it. Ball bounces around, and finally Cedarcrest with the football at the 1-yard line. .10:06 to go, first half. Cedarcrest already in the lead, 7-6, and looking for more right now. Knowles under center. I-back situation here this time. Gives it to Burpee. Burpee denied. Hawks showing some toughness on the goal line situation. We saw them come up with a big stop on 4th and 3 a moment ago. Ethan Dunn and Landon Woolley getting in this time to make the stop. Burpee might have even lost about a half of a yard there. The point of the football was almost on the goal line before, and now it's closer back to the 1-yard line. Still a very favorable spot there for the Red Wolves to try to punch this one in, as we're now down to 9:30 and counting. In 2-back set right now. Prone and Burpee, I-backs. Jordan Ayers going onto the field, and I think we're going to get a timeout here as there was some confusion. And in fact, Coach John Fiala wants to call a quick timeout. Fiala, by the way, I think we might have mentioned this earlier, former University of Washington linebacker, and a very good one at that. Played professionally for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 4 seasons, or I guess almost 5 seasons, from 1998 to 2002. Great guy, too. We've had him on our Prep Sports Weekly radio show that I do up in 1380 KRKO, and certainly a valuable member of that community. And I think the folks over in Duval are lucky to have him on their side. Looking at some of their assistants here. I know Pete Hartzell is one of their assistants. He was a pretty darn good football player himself back at Monroe High School back in the day. Remember that name. Mountlake Terrace cheerleaders in the house tonight, cheering on their team. We should mention, too, I'm sure a lot of folks have heard it already, and maybe some people are even starting to wonder a little bit. Earlier today, we found out that Governor Jay Inslee announced that we're about ready to head into Phase 3. Also found out that we will be able to have attendance at outdoor sporting events starting on March 18th. Now, we should remind everybody, just because that announcement's been made, it doesn't mean that it's been approved at the conference levels yet. Wesco Athletic Conference, the athletic director is planning on meeting early next week to start discussions as to when we can start letting fans back into the stadium. Is that next week? Perhaps. Maybe the week after. Don't know yet. So everybody just needs to hold tight and be patient. As Burpee on the run, trying to get up towards that goal line and just crossed the line there. The referee raises their hands into the air. Touchdown Burpee, touchdown Cedarcrest. Just broke the plane barely there. Nice job by Burpee and his teammates there to keep pushing. And Burpee, with his second touchdown of the night, makes it a 13-6 game with 9:14 to go. So again, Wesco Athletic Directors meeting early next week. they're going to start to talk about and maybe perhaps put a plan in place to get fans back into the stands, to work on protocols, to figure out what it's going to take to get somebody or some folks into the stadium here. Again, it won't be at full capacity, at least not right away. So we're taking baby steps. We're going in the right direction, and we will keep you posted on that. Kick is up. And the kick is good. Cedarcrest converting one more time, giving themselves a 14-6 lead with 9:14 to go here in the second quarter. Take another quick break and be right back. You're watching Hawk TV on HBN. Cedarcrest ready to kick off one more time, leading 14-6 with 9:14 to go here in the second quarter. Getting a few scores coming in here as we speak. Just continuing to look at the phone. Glacier Peak now out on top of Snohomish, 28-10 in the third quarter, midway through the third. GP team that looks awfully tough again this year. Younger team too, I might add. Ethan Dunn with a return out past the 30. Lunges ahead towards the 32-yard line where he will finally be brought down. And the Hawks will then take over possession here for the fifth time tonight. Ayers in on the tackle on the play. So we had other games tonight. Lakewood at Everett earlier. That was a 5 p.m. start. We haven't seen a score for that yet. The Cougars making their one-year appearance in Wesco. Team up in Arlington. 2A school. For pandemic purposes, they're going to keep them closer to home and not have them travel up into Skagit and Whatcom counties where they normally play. And so far, they haven't been very hospitable guests to their Wesco opponents. There is Dunn run off left side over the 39-yard line, gain of 7. Lakewood in their first ever quote-unquote Wesco game, defeating Marysville Getchell last week, 69-0. Dan Teeter runs an outstanding program up there at Lakewood, a team that made it all the way to the state quarterfinals a couple of years ago and brings back a really good team there. So Lakewood playing Everett tonight. We haven't heard a score yet. Edmonds, Woodway, and Shorecrest. That game was 3-0 at halftime a little while ago. Try to get you another score on that one here soon. Both of those two teams winning their games in a doubleheader here last Saturday night. Another handoff. One more time. Dunn up the middle. First down and then some. Gets ahead to the 44-yard line. A gain of 5 on the play. Unofficially right now here, my trusty little score sheet. Done with 8 carries for 29 yards tonight.
5-yard pickup on the play. First and 10, Mountlake Terrace.
And a text from my pal Tall Tom Lafferty right now, checking out the game here. Thanks for tuning in, Tom, for a few minutes. He's doing a lot of channel surfing tonight throughout the live stream of games. Relying on him to give me some scores here as we go along. Stilly Cup, the Berry Bowl, Dick Armstrong Cup. A lot of rivalry games tonight, as you can hear. Not to battle for Mukilteo. Dunn being pulled down by the jersey. Thought that was a horse collar for a minute, but then I realized that was just a handful of jersey as Mac Miles, 6'2", 215, grabbed onto a handful and just brought him down by the jersey. 1 yard loss on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 11. Other games tonight, Meadowdale taking on Archbishop Murphy over at Terry Ennis Stadium. A rarity there is a Wesco school getting to take on a Murphy squad that's been very tough over the years. Murphy's star player Josh McCarron, who's going to Virginia next year on a football scholarship from the Meadowdale community. A lot of jumping there on both sides. Let's see what they call it on here. False start on the Hawks. It's going to push them back even further. Brings up a 2nd and 16. Continuing to look at games, we already mentioned Kamiak at Mariner. That was a 6 o'clock start. Lake Stevens, a team that never seems to lose. Certainly not in Wesco play. I think it's been a 7-year winning streak right now. They're at Monroe tonight, playing against a Bearcat team that looked awfully good against Arlington last week. We mentioned the Berry Bowl, the Battle of Marysville. Pilchuck versus Getchell. It's going on right now. The Stilly Cup, Arlington at Stanwood. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, same start time as our game here, Cascade taking on Jackson over at Everett Memorial Stadium. A full slate of games. Love to see sports back. Waldrop Leathers dropping back and dropping down onto the ground. Matthew Weinert, the captain, the all-Wesco player, all-league player, I should say, last year up in the Northwest Conference, all Northwest tight end, all Northwest defensive end, and all over Mr. Waldrop Leathers there, sacking him back to the 26-yard line. A loss of 11 on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and very long. 3rd and 27 for the Hawks. Mountlake Terrace right now going the wrong way. We just got a score update from my pal Alex Clausius, letting me know that Archbishop Murphy ahead of Meadowdale 21-0. Coach Harmon doing a nice job with those Mavericks. They got a nice win last week over Shorewood, over at Shoreline Stadium. And Mountlake Terrace now finding a new way to go backwards, this time delay of game. So they've had a handoff that lost a yard, followed by a 5-yard penalty from there, followed by a quarterback sack, followed by a delay of game. And now it's 3rd and Shoreline as the Hawks trying to move from north to south. They need to get all the way past midfield into the 46 for a first down. Got a ways to go here. Waldrop Leathers looking for his intended receiver. That was Matthew Gisese. Trying to get him about 15 yards down the field on the right side. Incomplete. And Mr. Tonga, the big fellow, number 77, back out onto the field for his 3rd punt attempt of the night. Tonga standing right around his 9-yard line. Keep in mind the last time the Hawks attempted to punt, the ball sailed over Tonga's head. Ended up kicking the ball to the goal line where Cedarcrest punched it in 2 plays later. This time Tonga gets off a clear kick. A nice Mountlake Terrace roll inside the 40 where it will ultimately stop. A 38-yard kick for Tonga that time. Actually, they'll place it on the 39. Which is where Cedarcrest will take the field now. A lot further to go than the last time when they had the ball right on the goal line there after the punt. So Cedarcrest bringing the offense out here one more time, trying to get things going. Cedarcrest, a team that has a handful of players back that were all Northwest Conference players last year. They do lose a few as well, obviously. Dawson Kearns, their wide receiver from last year, graduated, was all league. Cameron Colruss also graduating. Hand off, and we get a new ball carrier this time, and this one's going to get across the 40 to the 44. Late flag comes in as Chester Brackenbush on the play there. He's been playing DB a little bit tonight. We've already called his name a few times. This time on the offensive side of things as we await to see what the call is here. Mentioned Weinert was an all-league tight end and defensive end last year. McPhee, he was an all-league offensive lineman. He's back. 10-yard penalty against Cedarcrest for holding. Charles Villum was also all-league last year. He's one of the offensive linemen tonight. We already mentioned Burpee. Ryan Olson, the linebacker, another all-league player. So Cedarcrest bringing back some talent from last year's team, certainly, and seen a little bit of it on display already here tonight. 14-6 lead for the Red Wolves, looking for their first win of the year. First and 19 after that holding call, and 30 it was a spot foul. Burpee back into the game, looking for space, not finding anything. There is Ethan Dunn riding him down to the ground. Gets right back to the line of scrimmage there. Burpee unofficially 54 yards on 8 carries, including a 31-yard run, touchdown run. Clock continues to run, 4:27 to go, first half. On a rather pleasant night here at Edmund Stadium. Did I see that correctly? I think we've got daylight savings time coming up this weekend. We continue to get more and more daylight here as we move forward. Pass over the middle there, complete. I'll tell you, if that ball had been led just a little bit further, Mr. Luke Marsh, who made the catch, might still be running. Had to turn back a little bit. Nice catch, nice throw. 18-yard gain on a 2nd and 19. That's going to leave 3rd and short. First completion of the night for Knowles. They've been keeping the ball on the ground for the most part. Speaking of which, another handoff to Burpee. Tries to get out to the outside, past midfield. Uses a stiff arm to try to pick up another yard. Waldrop Leathers not having much of that. Pushes him out, but not until after, I should say, a first down there for Burpee all the way into Mountlake Terrace territory to the 47-yard line.
6-yard pickup on the play.
Give him a gain of 6 on the play. That puts Burpee at 60 for the night. Continuing to monitor the chat going on here. Teresa Levinson, thank you very much. We appreciate you watching tonight and hope you're enjoying watching this game. I'm no doubt rooting for one of these teams. And there's an interception. Ball is tipped. Here we go. That is Dylan Wallace. Touchdown, Mountlake Terrace. Dylan Wallace, I had to look at my scorecard there for a moment, changed his number tonight, and maybe he needs to stick with this number. Normally he's number 8. Needed him to play some offensive line tonight, so he's wearing that number 65, and the big fella picking off a pass and rumbling into the end zone for the touchdown. Hawks getting it to within 2, and perhaps after this conversion attempt, we might have a tie game, and I do apologize to the defender there. One of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks tipping that ball, really the one who forced Knowles into a bad situation, batted the ball up into the air. Wallace was the only one around. All he had to do was catch it and run all the way into the end zone. Pick 6 for the Hawks. And we'll take a break here right after this, and we'll find out who that was that, in fact, tipped the ball. And, oh, boy, this is not what you want if this is on Mountlake Terrace. You've already had a 15-yard chop block that pushed your first PAT back. And then you get an illegal substitution. So instead of a 2-point conversion from the 2-yard line, you have to try it again from the 7-yard line. It said very similar to last year. If you're just tuning in, these two teams last played back in 2019, the last football season we had, right here at Edmund Stadium, homecoming night for the Hawks. Cedarcrest winning that game 14-13. Difference in the game? Cedarcrest converted 2 extra point attempts. Mountlake Terrace missed 1. Hawks using a little bit of a swinging gate here. This is interesting. To keep everybody out there. Pass is batted down. Waldrop Leathers trying to find Woolley over the middle. The ball was knocked down. Even if Woolley had caught it, he was short. And that's going to wipe out any chance the Hawks have of tying the game there. But nonetheless, Dylan Wallace's interception, putting the Hawks back within 2. 3:24 to go here in the first half. Do not go anywhere. We've got an exciting one here tonight. You're watching Hawk TV HBN. Angel Rodriguez ready to kick off as the Hawks bringing this game to within 14-12, a 2-point game. With 3:24 to go, a short kick to the 25-yard line. Fielded by Luke Marsh, who returns it out past the 40 and to the 44-yard line. And we did finally get confirmation. Jay Nath was the Mountlake Terrace Hawks player who tipped that ball up into the air. Again, it almost looked as though Knowles was just trying to get rid of it. Nath was all over him. Got his big paw, and that ball knocked it into the air. Kind of floated up there for a moment. Dylan Wallace, Johnny on the spot, only one around. All he had to do was bring it in and run it down the middle of the field. 40 yards out or so for the interception return for the touchdown. And now Mountlake Terrace within 2 points, 3:18 to go here in the first half. Definitely making this a much more interesting game now as we've got a 2-point ball game. Another run right up the middle. That was Burpee again. Burpee's going to pick up 3 yards on the play. Brings up a 2nd and 7. Clock continues to run. Four receivers set for Cedarcrest. Hand off to Burpee. Burpee doing a nice job of falling forward as he was met by Nath immediately at the line. Jay Nath playing with a little confidence now after that forced interception for the touchdown, but Burpee makes it a point to pick up 2 yards. Brings up 3rd and 5 on the play. Red Wolves with 2 timeouts remaining here, 2:17 showing on the clock. Certainly plenty of time to get down the field. Hawks looking to prevent that and looking to force them into a 4th down situation here, 3rd and 5. Knowles into the flat, finds Burpee open, past the first down marker, using that speed, gets to the edge and finally brought down at the 30. A little bit of late contact, but I think that was incidental as number 55, Turner, was stumbling and thrown into Burpee there. But Burpee picking up 21 yards on the play on that pass. His first reception of the night to go along with 65 yards of rushing. Cedarcrest once again looking to strike here. Under 2 minutes to go, 1:55 on the clock. Cedarcrest up by 2, looking for more. Burpee one more time. Off the left side. It's brought down right around the 22-yard line. It's going to leave him just a little bit short here on 2nd down. Xavier Lake making the tackle for Mountlake Terrace. Red Wolves patient right now, just letting that clock tick away. 1:24. Not a huge rush for them. Don't want to leave any extra time than they have to right now for Terrace either. Knowles over the middle. Penalty flags fly right around the 20-yard line, and we'll see what the call is here. Ball was incomplete. We saw this in our game earlier tonight, too. We're watching Linwood-Shorewood, game we broadcasted at 5 o'clock. Shorewood scoring a touchdown with 1:17 to go in the half. Ineligible man downfield. I would think the Hawks are going to wave this one off and decline it with the incompletion. Actually, 2nd and 2, they might take it. Didn't realize we were that close to the first down. But anyway, earlier, Shorewood scoring a touchdown with 1:17 to go in the half. Linwood was out of timeouts. It's kind of a defensive struggle at that point. It made it a 7-7 game. I thought Linwood would come out and just be conservative, take a knee, or just run the clock out. Next thing you know, they're hitting a 64-yard bomb, and they managed to score a touchdown one play later on the final play of the half and took the lead. So you never know what you want to leave that other team with there on the other side if you do, in fact, get a chance to score quickly. Sometimes that can come back and bite you a little bit. Hawks stuffing the run this time. A whole bunch of Hawks getting on the play there. Seeing various numbers, 77, 70, 55. Take your pick. Turner, Hinckley, Tonga. Ethan Dunn also in on there. It's going to be a loss of 7 on the play. Loss of 2 on the play after the penalty, I guess. And with 1:02 to go here, Cedarcrest electing to take a timeout right now. We'll keep it right here. as we look to finish out the half. Looking at upcoming games, and again, keep in mind, 5-game schedule this year. There is no postseason. There are no tournaments. You play these next few weeks, and you call it a season. It's better than nothing, right? So Cedarcrest, next week, they will be taking on Marysville Getchell. I already mentioned they had a rough go of it last week against Lakewood. Getchell right now playing up at Quilceda Stadium in Marysville, taking on Pilchuck. So that game at Cedarcrest, that will be in Duval next week, 7 p.m. start time on Friday. The following Friday, they will take on Everett High School, the Seagulls, over at Everett Memorial Stadium. And then Cedarcrest wrapping up the season on Thursday, April 1st, at home against a Lakewood Cougar team that we already talked about earlier, a very good Lakewood Cougar team that looks extremely strong this year. So that's Cedarcrest's schedule. Mountlake Terrace, on the other hand, they'll be heading down, I should say, south to Shoreline Stadium next week, 6 p.m. kickoff on Friday against Cedarcrest. They might as well stay there. They've got another game there the following week as they make the Shoreline School District schedule there. And once again, Knowles being blitzed, completes the pass down the field. There is a flag down at the 33-yard line. You can ultimately say that the pass was dropped. That was Luke Marsh, the intended receiver.
Pass was incomplete. Penalty flag on the play.
I believe that was Davis defending the play there. Actually, it was Ipanique. Guessing this might be against Cedarcrest as the referee's over talking to Tony Umayam. Ultimately wanting to know, do you want to decline it and bring up fourth down, or do you want to push him back? See what he does, in fact, decline it. It will be 4th and 10 from the 30-yard line. Incomplete pass. So Mountlake Terrace, the next 2 weeks at Shoreline Stadium, 6 p.m. next Friday against Shorecrest, 6 p.m. the following Friday against Shorewood, and then the Hawks wrap up their season Thursday, April 1st, right here at Edmond Stadium, 8 p.m. start time against their rival, the Linwood Royals. Royals team that's feeling pretty good about themselves after a 41-14 victory over Shorewood earlier tonight here at the stadium. 4th and 10, pass over the middle, incomplete. Nice job on the defense there as the Hawks ready for that one. Giseze, number 1 on the defense. Looked as though Xavier Lake also dropping back to help out a little bit there. So the Hawks will take over with 49 seconds remaining in the half. Hawks down to 1 timeout left. So now the question is, do the Hawks want to play conservative and go into the half with a score, or do they want to try to get something going here? Mountlake Terrace will receive the opening kickoff for the second half. Mountlake Terrace with the ball on the Cedarcrest 30-yard line. Good game going on here tonight. Kind of figured this might be an evenly matched game, and so far it has not disappointed. Hawks looking to throw. Ball is picked off at the 38 and returned. 1 man to beat into the end zone. Touchdown, Cedarcrest. Luke Ample, 38-yard INT return. Cedarcrest says, I'll see your pick 6, and I'll call you and give us one of our own here. Luke Ample read that one beautifully there. Saw that Waldrop Leathers was looking over to the left side. Ball was underthrown just a little bit. Ample right there on the spot. Caught it. Only had to beat Waldrop Leathers to the corner there. Made it down the sideline into the end zone, and with 39 seconds to go, Cedarcrest making it a 20-12 game with the PAT coming up next. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Makes it a 2-possession game. Cedarcrest with 39 seconds left, making it a 21-12 game. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to bring you the last 39 seconds of the first half. You're watching HBN. Safety Luke Ample's 38-yard INT return for a touchdown, giving Cedarcrest a 21-12 lead here with 39 seconds remaining in the half. Cedarcrest trying to squib kick it along the ground. Mountlake Terrace there to field it. Number 36, Tyler Schenkel on the play. Mountlake Terrace with a decision here. We saw how that worked the last time around. Ball on their own 37-yard line, 33 seconds left. Cedarcrest defensive players out there making a little noise right now. They're all fired up. See what Mountlake Terrace elects to do here. Again, the Hawks do get the opening kickoff for the second half. Waldrop Leathers into shotgun formation. They're going to pass it down the field again. Perhaps gets tackled from behind. Holds onto the ball, however. Fortunately for the Hawks, is Weinert catching him from behind there. Dangerous play there is kind of snuck up on him a little bit there. Those are the types of plays where sometimes the quarterbacks don't see it coming, and next thing you know, the ball's on the turf. 3-yard loss on the play. The clock continues to tick. We're down at 8 seconds and counting. Be curious to see if the Hawks even attempt a play here. 3 seconds remaining. 2, 1. They get the snap off just in time. Catch is made. Cesce getting tackled at the 49-yard line. There is a penalty marker down. The half cannot end on a defensive penalty, so let's see what happens here. If, in fact, that's called against Cedarcrest, the Hawks would get one untimed play, and that would then end the half. Call is on offense. That ends the half, and our score here after one half of play, Cedarcrest 21, Mountlake Terrace 12. A game that's had a little bit of everything so far. 2 pick sixes, one on each side. We've seen Cedarcrest have 2 possessions in which they've turned the ball over after one play. We've also seen them put together a really nice possession with Peyton Burpee scoring a touchdown. Mountlake Terrace moving the ball a little bit. Should be a fun second half. Again, the team that's losing right now, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, they get the opening kickoff to start the second half. A vital possession at that. We'll see if they can get this game going again. See if they can work their way back into it and make for an exciting next 24 minutes. But right now, we're going to take a quick break. You are watching HBN on Hawk TV, Mountlake Terrace versus Cedarcrest. Welcome back once again to Edmonds Stadium. Your halftime score, Cedarcrest on top of Mountlake Terrace, 21-12. As we get ready to go here for the second half of action. The clock right now showing 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the break. Continuing to monitor things online, continuing to look up some scores from other games going on around. Final score from over at Shoreline Stadium. Edmonds Woodway defeating Cedsrcrest tonight, 23-13. That's thanks to our friend John, the super fan, who we've known for quite some time. That helps us out. John over there at Shoreline Stadium tonight watching that game. I know John's a Shoreline High School alum. His old squad no longer around, but he still likes to go out and support the teams. Saw another final score here a few moments ago, and then, of course, as soon as I get on the air, we lose it, but I believe it was a Kamiak Mariners score earlier. Let's see if we can get another one here. As I mentioned earlier, the Stilly Cup taking place up north. That's Stanwood versus Arlington. Big rivalry game for those two schools. Oh, good game going on there, too. Arlington up 17-14. I think Stanwood hasn't won that game in 10 or 11 years now, so they're trying to break that string. We'll see if they can do it tonight. Arlington playing without their star quarterback, Trent Nobach, who broke his collarbone last week, out for the season. Fortunately, he's only a junior, so he will get a chance to come back and play. It's always tough when you have these short seasons and you see players go down with injuries, and just like that, it's over. They don't have time to come back, so look forward to seeing Trent again in the fall. Good kid, too. Mentioned Kamiak defeating Mariner. I believe the score is 38-18. I'll try to 35-18, I think is what I saw earlier. We'll try to find that here in a little bit. We got fans sending out stuff, or football fans for these two teams sending out some stuff for me. I appreciate it. As Deb Stupful letting me know that there's been a change in jersey tonight for Cedarcrest. So apparently her son Kyle, now wearing the number 64 tonight. He's playing middle linebacker. Changing with Ethan Wheaton, who's now wearing the number 40. So we'll keep an eye on that. So, Deb, we appreciate you for doing your due diligence and letting us know what's going on there, and for watching tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying watching your son out there play and watching them take a 9-point lead over the Hawks. Good to have the Cedarcrest community joining us tonight. And a lot of good sports going on around the area. We should point that out, too, is it's not just football that's back right now. It's girls soccer, it's boys tennis, it's volleyball, cross country, girls swimming. They're doing that virtually right now. No swimming teams able to compete head-to-head this year. Everything's going to be done on time trial systems, and Wesco just implementing that this week, putting into place an area where they can insert their times, and that will be the quote-unquote meet or race for the week. So a little bit of that going. I know Cedarcrest, I know your community up there. You got Alex Hickok. He's a girls soccer team 3-1 on the season. Doing a nice job. I know they had a big week, outscoring Linwood and Cedarcrest by a combined total of 10-0 this week. And Cedarcrest with a big game coming up on Tuesday night against Edmonds Woodway at home. Bill Lecomte always brings a tough Warriors team out to play soccer. Winning a state championship a few years ago, and they've also been able to compete at the state level at the quarterfinals and semifinals a few times in between there. Also looking here, Cedarcrest boys cross-country team defeating Shorewood over at McCormick Park on Wednesday. John Mayer, not that John Mayer, but John Mayer, the runner, defeating London Haley, one of his teammates, by 7 seconds to win for the boys. And on the girls' side of things, Sonia Bleicher winning for the girls' event. So congratulations there. So Bruce McDowell and his squad. So we certainly congratulate all of you. And we'll talk about the Mountlake Terrace other fall teams here in a moment, too. We don't want to short them. So great to have everybody back in action. Squib kick, Hawks taking it, returning it to the 40-yard line, and that's where they will begin the second half of play. Needing to get something going on here is that interception right before the half, that 38-yard return by Ample, really putting the Hawks in a hole here, down by 9, as we've got 24 minutes left on the clock showing here tonight. Levinson on the tackle. I think I saw that name in the chat a little while ago, too. So Teresa Levinson, I'm guessing that might be mom. Who knows? But at any rate, getting his name called out there for the tackle. Here we go. Hawks ball. Own 40-yard line. Backwards pass. Looking to perhaps throw again. No, he's going to end up trying to run it. That was Matthew Gisese. Looking for maybe a little trickery there as they threw it behind. It was a backwards pass by about a yard, so it was one of those plays where Gisessi, I think, was planning on perhaps catching that ball and then throwing it again. As long as it's not a forward pass, you can throw it a second time. And looked as though that might be what they were lining up for. We're going to give Gisessi credit for a no-gain run on the play, not a pass catch. Brings up 2nd and 10, keeps the clock rolling. Waldrop Leathers back at quarterback, hands off to Dunn. Started to go out right, cuts it back into the middle, trying to push ahead here. A nice little scrum at the 43-yard line. Finally stacked up and dropped. Give him forward momentum. That will be a gain of 3 on the play. Dunn unofficially right now. 10 carries for 33 yards tonight. Matthew Weinert, number 88, in on the tackle. Reading the comments again, that was in fact Anthony's mom, Teresa, there. So that we were able to call his name out. Again, this is kind of fun for us here, getting the chance to bring the action to you folks. I know you'd rather be here at the game, and unfortunately, under the circumstances, we're not quite there yet, but hopefully soon, as we continue to be patient. Mountlake Terrace looking to run that one off the right side. Jake Meeks getting another carry. Meeks, who was the starting tailback last week, getting a big chunk of the load there. He got a little banged up in that game. I'm not sure if that's the reason why he hasn't been playing enough tonight or more. Maybe perhaps they're just riding a hot hand with Dunn. Not sure, but I know Meeks is somebody who I know they certainly are counting on this year. And good to see him get a carry right there, the junior. 4th and 6 coming up. The Hawks once again on to punt. Punting from their own 44-yard line. Tonga no longer the punter as he just ran onto the field, and he's going to be playing tackle there. They're switching it up here a little bit. Nice booming kick all the way to the 26-yard line. It's a 30-yard punt. Returned out to the 30. So Landon Woolley punting for the first time tonight. So perhaps the Hawks trying something a little bit different there. Tonga struggling on that one kick earlier, but really, I'm even sure I'd like to see that one on a replay. I'm not sure that was his fault earlier. The one that ended up getting kicked to the goal line and recovered there. A little bit of a high snap, and perhaps Mountlake Terrace just looking to change things up a bit. So Woolley now the punter. And a nice kick there. 30-yard punt in the air. Red Wolves bringing it out to the 41-yard line, so a big return for them as well. And Cedarcrest now bringing their offense back out onto the field one more time. 9-point lead. Looking to expand it. 9:25 to go, third quarter. Cheer squad continues to make noise, trying to bring these guys some enthusiasm and spirit there. Nice tackle there. Number 70, Hinckley on the play. Give Burpee a 5-yard carry there. Got Hinckley. I'm just counting up the numbers here as we go. Unofficially, again, trying to do play-by-play and stats. Not always the easiest thing to do simultaneously. Unofficially, I've got Burpee at 73 yards carrying tonight. And we're going to subtract a few there as Burpee stopped in the backfield this time. 77 Tonga in on the tackle. Burpee also has a 21-yard catch. Xavier Lake also in on the tackle there. Brings up a 3rd and 7, 8:25 to go. Couple booths down to the left of us here. Tom Davis doing a nice job on the public address announcing. Paul Keene acting as his spotter tonight. Quite the tandem there. It's a pass down the field. Intercepted. Waldrop for the second time tonight. Let's see if this one stands. There was a little bit of contact, and the referee immediately threw a flag. Not sure if they're going to call Waldrop for some contact or what. Let's see what happens here. Waldrop, who started this game off picking off the very first play from scrimmage when Knowles dropped back to pass. To get things going here tonight. See if Waldrop Leathers, we keep forgetting that hyphenated name. And in fact, they're going to call Waldrop Leathers for the pass interference. So that play will be wiped out. Not only is it wiped out, it's also going to give 15 yards to Cedarcrest. Your officials for tonight, your head referee is Steve Reed, umpire Brett Whipple, linesman Hunter White, John Deviney is your line judge, and your back judge is Keith Smith. Not only do we appreciate those 5 for being out here tonight, they've been out here all night. Second game of the evening for all 5 of those gentlemen. Not an easy task. We thank them for their services here. We started to mention a minute ago our 2 guys down the hall, Paul Keene and Tom Davis. Quite the tandem there. They rotate games. So usually Paul Keene will do the 5 o'clock game. He'll do the PA announcing, and Tom will spot for him. And then they flip for the 8 o'clock game. Paul being the spotter, Tom doing the PA. They do a fantastic job. We really appreciate everything that they're bringing to the table here. And I was teasing them in between the 2 games that with being a party of 1 up here and not having a spotter or a color commentator during the pandemic, it's been a huge help for me to listen in on them and find out who's making tackles and being sure that we're able to read off the defensive names. I cheat a little bit on that one. So Burpee trying to find some room to run, cannot find anything. He's going to get stacked up. 1 yard gain. Xavier Lake making another tackle there. 2nd and 9 coming up. Also want to mention we will be broadcasting doubleheaders for the rest of the football season over the next 3 weeks. I'll give you that schedule here in just a moment too. The next 2 Fridays followed by a Thursday night season-ending set of games. We'll bring you that here in just a moment. Hawks showing blitz, hand off to Burpee, stacked up at the line, falls forward for maybe a half of a yard. Number 70, Hinckley in on the tackle, as well as a few others. So next Friday night, right back here at Edmonds Stadium, 5 p.m. start time, Shorewood versus Edmonds Woodway, followed by the 8 p.m. game, Linwood versus Meadowdale. 2 weeks from tonight, Edmonds Woodway Linwood at 5 o'clock, followed by Shortcrest Meadowdale. And then Thursday, April 1st, Meadowdale Edmonds Woodway at 5 p.m., Mountlake Terrace Linwood 8 p.m. Knowles not finding anywhere to throw, so he decides to run instead, does a little Russell Wilson move, holds the ball forward as he passes the 30-yard line. However, there is a penalty marker down at the 40. We'll see if this one comes back. If the play does, in fact, stand, Knowles would, in fact, have 13 yards and will have picked up a first down. They're going to call a block in the back against the offense, so we'll bring that one back and do it all over again, minus a few yards for Cedarcrest. Also doing a little doubleheader soccer action for the next 3 Thursdays here. Or next 2 Thursdays, rather. I should correct that there. We've got a Meadowdale Edmonds Woodway 7:30 start next week for varsity. There's a JV game right before that, and unfortunately I don't have the 2 JV teams. I don't think it's the same 2 teams. I think it's maybe one of the 2. But Meadowdale Edmonds Woodway playing varsity soccer here 7:30 on Thursday. We will be broadcasting that as well. And then on Thursday the 25th, Mountlake Terrace versus Meadowdale. George Dramusis and his Hawks ladies coming in here and playing one more time. Got a big 5-0 win last night at Marysville Pilchuck. We'll talk about that in a minute here. Knowles pass incomplete. Brings up 4th and long. If you stepped away at the end of the half, we were talking a little bit about Cedarcrest and some of their teams and athletes that they've been have been out there participating this fall. I was going to say this fall. It's fall sports season, but it's really this winter. Mountlake Terrace also doing some nice things right now, and we want to make sure that we bring that to your attention a little bit. And first and foremost, the one that jumps out, Gene Kellogg and the volleyball squad. Mountlake Terrace volleyball 4-0 to start the season. It's a volleyball team that was 4-12 last year. So 4 games in, they've already matched their win total for 16 games of last year. Low snap on the punt. Finish that thought up here in just a moment. Coming in for the fair catch at the 23-yard line. 27-yard punt. Fielded by Jake Meeks. So, yeah, Mountlake Terrace volleyball 4-0 to start the season. We've seen some of these names time and time again on MLTnews.com in the nightly sports roundups. Tessa Overlease, Caitlin Scott, Kayla Benetiniso. I probably messed that name up. Sorry about that, Kayla. Audrey Kuhn, Ellie Lombard, Isabel Allred, Kiana Hinckley. A lot of great play from those ladies. Again, strong start to their season, and congratulations to them. Talked about George Dramusis and his soccer team. This girl's off to a 2-2 start, playing a handful of freshmen, one of which, Natalie Carden, feel like a broken record. We said this last week. We were on the air last Saturday talking about how she had a hat trick the night before. Guess what? We're going to do that again. She had another hat trick last night. So 7 goals into her first 4 games of her high school career, doing a nice job along with some other freshmen on that team. I think picking up a 5-0 win last night. So certainly they're doing a nice job as well. Mountlake Terrace cross country team taking on Edmonds Woodway over at Ballinger Park the other day. Had a chance to see part of that match, that meet. Sadie Sadler, highest finishing Mountlake Terrace girls runner that day. Carter Middleton for the boys. So congratulations to both of them. Jim Pearson doing a nice job with that team. And then also the tennis team. Daniel Brozovic, the boys coach this year. Like I said, just good to have sports back. Good to have our young student athletes out competing, having a chance to do big things, to do what they love, to compete, and hopefully doing so in a safe manner. So hopefully everybody's patient with that. And if you weren't listening earlier, I'll mention this one more time here too as we get ready for the next play, and we'll finish that thought here in just a moment. After the penalty, Terrace will start the possession at their own 11-yard line. 6 minutes to go on the clock, third quarter, down by 9. Waldrop Leathers getting pressured, rolling out, throws it complete at the 24-yard line. 13-yard gain. It's Elijah Dahlman with his second catch of the night. Came out with that big 28-yard catch during the first half. And if you missed the announcement earlier, actually, I was going to say today, it was yesterday. Governor coming out and saying that we're heading into phase 3 very soon. And that starting on March 18th, Waldrop Leathers, run play off the right side. Might have picked up a yard on the play. In the beginning of March 18th, you are permitted to potentially attend sporting events. Obviously not at maximum capacity, but we're starting to make improvements and go in the right direction. Now, we should point out that doesn't mean you can rush out next week and start attending high school sporting events. It's done at the conference level. So the Wesco athletic directors planning to meet early next week, planning to discuss plans moving forward, new protocols, trying to implement safety precautionary procedures, and how we can get to a point where we can actually start letting fans in. It might happen next week. It might take a little while longer. We're not sure yet. As Dunn runs up the middle, dives forward, just a little bit short of that first down marker. We'll call it a gain of 6 on the play, maybe 7. So athletic directors meeting early next week to discuss when we can, in fact, start letting fans back into the stands here. I don't even want to speculate. I'm not sure. Perhaps, is it possible that we could see fans here next Friday? Maybe, maybe not. It might take a little longer than that. But certainly, again, I think we're starting to move in that direction to where by the end of the season, we'll see something going on. So stay tuned for that. Third down and 2 for the Hawks. Their own 32-yard line, down by 9. Trying to get these chains moving once again. Stacked up at the line. Fighting forward. Can he make it? Look at that. Number 21 on the play, Jake Meeks. Initially stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Fought his way forward. Started leaning out towards the 34-yard line. Waiting to see where this marker is going to move to here. He's very close to the first down. Well, now they're moving it back to the 33, so perhaps a yard short, but for what looked like was going to be a 1 or 2 yard loss, turns it into a 1-yard gain and makes the decision that much more difficult for UMIAM here, as again, they need something here. They're starting to run low on time. The clock continues to tick. Mountlake Terrace in their own territory, they're going to elect to go for it. Looks like they're keeping the offense on the field. Clock is down to 5 seconds. They better snap it quickly. And finally, realizing there's confusion, UMIAM wants to call a timeout, so he will take a break and analyze the situation and see what they want to do. So a big play coming up for the Hawks and for Cedarcrest too, for that matter. So we'll keep it right here for a moment. First time out of the half for the Hawks. And again, I noticed there was a little bit of banter going on earlier. I missed some of it there on the chat line, but the last time that these two teams played, a brutal night here at Edmunds Stadium. Still remember that one. It was homecoming night here for the Hawks. Second quarter, got a little bit of a storm that came through, lightning strikes. And as is the rule throughout the state, once you see lightning, or actually it's more of a sports rule in general around the nation, once you see lightning, you need to immediately pause for 30 minutes and take safety precautions to make sure that nobody's in danger. So the players returned to the locker room. We were in a nice job by the Hawks to dive forward there on fourth down. Almost missed the play there. Let's see where they spotted here. Meeks, it looked like he was going to be short, kind of lunged at the last second, dove for the first down. It looks like he's got it. Mountlake Terrace moving the chains on fourth down. It's a stormy night, homecoming night. A couple of guys being inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame that night. I believe it was Cecil Boot, the former Mountlake Terrace Hawk from the early 70s, along with Mike Dallas, a great athlete during the mid-'80s in Mountlake Terrace. And so they elected to do the Hall of Fame inductions during the second quarter while the players were back in the locker room, just to save time at halftime, so they didn't have to have the long extended break at halftime, knowing that they were also taking a break in the second quarter. So a little bit of a rough night, back and forth game, two teams battling it out. Cedarcrest finally coming away with a 14-13 victory that night. And again, that was back in the fall of 2019. Just got looking here at the chat here over the break. Chris Anderson watching the game from Mexico. Well, thank you for tuning in. Gotta love this internet thing, don't you? It's kind of fun to know that no matter where you are, if you are a fan of Cedarcrest, if you're a fan of Mountlake Terrace, perhaps you just need a football fix tonight and you want to watch, you can tune in anytime, anywhere, and watch this game and enjoy the Red Wolves and the Hawks do battle here. Happy to bring this to you tonight. Just got to score Cascade ahead of Jackson. This might be a final now that it's 9:45. And there's a sack. Waldrop Leathers being dropped at the 25-yard line.
Second quarterback by Matthew Weiner, along with Charlie.
There we go. I wanted to make sure I got that 6 number turned around there so I could see who it was. It was Charlie Vlim on the tackle along with Weinert. It's going to take the Hawks back. It looks like about 8 yards on the play. 2nd and 18 coming up. Cascade beating Jackson 41-0 tonight. Bruins running their record to 2-0, and that's a Cascade team that these Cedarcrest fans know. Same Cascade team that beat them 42-0 last week. So the Bruins got a little something going right now. Dunn right up the middle there for a 5-yard run. Well, we'll call it a 3-yard run after all is said and done. And we want to thank everybody that's involved in this production tonight. Angelo Camo, teacher over at Mountlake Terrace High School, running the show, making sure that everything happens here. He's got us all set up. Jamie Stockmurray, student at Mountlake Terrace High School. He's running the controls right now. All the switching you see between cameras, running the board there. Doing a fantastic job. Doing double duty tonight. He did the first game as well. Pass down the middle, complete. At the 40, and forward goes number 2, Landon Woolley, all the way to the 46-yard line. 16-yard completion on 3rd and 15. Yes, please, say the Hawks. Woolley moving the chains there. His first catch of the night. Nice throw by Cole Waldrop Leathers. He was Cole Waldrop last week, so you have to pardon me if I keep forgetting that hyphenated name there that we found out about earlier today. So we definitely want to honor that, though. So Cole with a nice pass there. Woolley with a nice catch. Hawks going to keep it on the ground this time. Dunn past midfield, diving forward to the 46-yard line. A gain of 8 yards. Clock down to 1:20 in the third quarter and counting. Also want to thank our camera crew tonight, a crew of 2. And this is how we've been doing this year. We've been looking for volunteer parents to help us out. And one of the players that you've seen out on the field performing tonight, and actually he's had a couple nice plays, Elijah Dahlman, number 11, he's had a couple of nice catches for the Hawks. His parents, Jim and Andrea, are running the cameras for us tonight, so we appreciate that. And as a bonus for them, they get into this for helping us out, so it works out for everybody, right? Win-win. Speaking of which, here's a pass to Dahlman right now, incomplete. A little bit of incidental contact there between Dahlman and Brackenbush. Ball was just overthrown slightly there as Dahlman is hoping to bring that one in at around the 30-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 2 with 47 seconds to go in the half. You got Melissa V watching in Las Vegas and asking about the temperature. Somebody else responding that it's 41 degrees. That sounds about right. We were low to mid 50s earlier today. It's definitely cooled off a little bit since we started here earlier. When we started at 5 o'clock on our first game tonight, it felt pretty nice out there. Sun has since gone down, and we're still at that time of year when it drops quick. Dunn looking to get forward there, doesn't find much room, and that's going to bring up another 4th and short. So a little bit of a chill in the air. It's a crisp night tonight, though, a very clear day. We had a beautiful blue sky day here in the Pacific Northwest. Again, temperatures in the mid-50s. Ideal for those 5 o'clock starts. Just perfect football weather at that time. And again, with daylight savings time coming in next week, some of these games are going to see even more daylight. It's one of the perks of playing in March versus October, November, I guess. 4th down, short pass into the flat, complete, 1st down. As Jay Nath with his first catch of the night. All the way down to the 41-yard line, a gain of 6 on the play. And the clock now showing triple zeros, and we've come to the end of the 3rd quarter. Scoreless quarter at that. However, the Hawks starting to knock on the door. Down by 9, trying to make this an interesting game. We're going to take a quick break and then come back for the final 12 minutes of what looks like it could be a very exciting game. Mountlake Terrace, Cedarcrest, and a good one here at Edmond Stadium. You are watching Hawk TV, HBN. All right, here we go. Edmond Stadium, 4th quarter underway. Hawks trailing by 9. Knocking on the door here against Cedarcrest. What's turned out to be a good game. A double handoff here. And getting the carry there. Number 7 for the Hawks. Always a fun name for me to get a chance to say. Lorenzo Ipanike. Ipanike with the carry there as it was initially handed off to number 21 Meeks, who then handed it off to Ipanike. And my buddy Ben Iman might be listening, and I might get another text as I've butchered that name maybe once earlier tonight already. It wouldn't be the first. So hopefully we're doing some service to that name there. I know one of his family members I saw sending out messages earlier. If that's the case, we certainly are doing our best there. So a nice little carry for him, 4-yard gain. Here comes Meeks, 20-yard line. 17-yard pickup for Jake Meeks. His biggest carry of the night. Hawks mixing it up a little bit here. Earlier, it was a big dose of Ethan Dunn. Meeks getting a couple of carries here is Lorenzo, and all of a sudden the Hawks back in business here. 21-yard line. They'll finally spot it down at the 21, so give them a 16-yard gain when it's all said and done. Again, a touchdown here would make this a one-possession game and could make things very interesting moving forward. Dunn in motion. High snap. Out into the flat. Ball is caught at the 20-yard line. Looking for the corner. Getting tackled by the foot. That's Dunn with the catch. Nice job on the defensive play there. I think that was number 6 on the play. Amble. But not before Dunn picks up the first down. Amble might have saved a touchdown there with that diving tackle there on the feet. 7-yard gain. And Mountlake Terrace inside the red zone, 14-yard line, 10-22 and counting. Waldrop Leather, shotgun. Meeks in the backfield. 2 receivers set out to the right. Hand off to Meeks, stopped right away. Mac Miles reading that one beautifully. There to stop him before he could get going at all, right at the line of scrimmage. Mountlake Terrace, no doubt in 4-down territory right now. First down marker at the 11-yard line.
Third down and 4 to go from the 15 for the Hawks.
Cheer squad continuing to do their thing. And that might be on Cedarcrest. Let's see what they call here. It was encroachment against Cedarcrest on 3rd and 4, which gives Mountlake Terrace the automatic first down. First down, the 10-yard line. Hawks looking to get within 1 score here. And we want to give a shout out to the Hawks cheer crew over here to our right. You can potentially maybe see them right behind the Cedarcrest bench. Jessica Ellersick, the cheer coach, doing her thing once again, putting together a solid squad, and appreciate those ladies out there rooting on their team even without a crowd to cheer for. Waldrop Leathers keeping it, bunched up at the line of scrimmage. Might have even lost a half of a yard on the play.
In on the stop, number 75, Mario Narciso Felix. Loss of a yard on the play.
Watching some very interesting things go on below us here. I should probably bring this to your attention here in just a moment. I'm not sure how much they want me to, but we'll talk about this here in just a second as maybe we're getting a hint of signs to come here. Waldrop Leathers dropping back, looking for somebody, throws it into the flat, complete. No, off the chest. Ipanike looking to run before he caught it. That ball was thrown right into the breadbasket there to run the 5-yard line. Couldn't hold on to it. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and goal at the 11-yard line. Noticing caution tape being put on the bleachers below us here is Julie Stronzik, the athletic director for the Edmond School District, and another employee are starting to space out some tape along the bleachers here, perhaps getting ready for next week. Again, district meeting coming up. We'll see what happens. Meeks, handoff, left side, falls forward to the 7-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th and goal. Mountlake Terrace with a decision to make here. How comfortable are you with your kicking team? If you can convert a field goal here, you're within 6 points. You're within 1 score at that point. If you want to go for the touchdown and try to get it within a 2-point game, then you go for that. It looks like they're keeping the offense on the field. This is a huge play. 7:56. Time starting to work against the Hawks. They need a score here. Let's see what happens. Waldrop Leathers, shotgun formation. They need to get into the end zone. Looking into the end zone, the ball was tipped incomplete. Believe that was Caleb Mayer who tipped the ball. Mayer, the junior linebacker, number 3, getting in there quickly. It was, in fact, Mayer. Mayer having a good time celebrating, and rightfully so. Nice play by Mayer. Cedarcrest will take over on downs at the 8-yard line with 7:43 to go. Now, certainly far from over here as number one, Cedarcrest is pinned deep in their own territory, and there is still enough time left. Don't get us wrong here. Mountlake Terrace does have 2 timeouts remaining, which they'll no doubt be able to use as the game progresses here, assuming they can get the ball back and get a stop. But nonetheless, a big, key, crucial stop for Cedarcrest there to keep this as a 2-score game. Burpee with the carry. Carrying defenders on his back past the 20-yard line, falling forward. As Tom Davis, the PA announcer, says, Burpee churning and churning. 11-yard to 13-yard gain for Burpee on the play. Got Burpee down for 18 carries tonight. So do a quick math here. Again, unofficial play-by-play announcer stats here. 18 carries for 85 yards for Burpee tonight. And we just got a final score from the Lake Stevens Monroe game, courtesy of my pal, Tall Tom Lafferty over at 1380 KRKO, the Hall of Famer, Snohomish County Sports Hall of Famer. Lake Stevens defeating Monroe tonight 40-0. Vikings powerhouse machine just keeps on churning out players.
Second down, 13 to go. Ball at the 18-yard line.
6:32 and counting. Cedarcrest obviously not in any hurry to snap the ball. They don't need to be. They're up by 2 scores. Burpee spinning off of one tackler, finally getting stopped at the 21-yard line.
Burpee again gets the handoff.
Giving forward momentum there for 3 yards.
Brought down on the play by Landon Woolley.
Landon Woolley making the tackle.
And Dylan Wallace.
Give Dylan Wallace a little credit there too, number 65.
3-yard pickup. The ball out to the 21.
So the question becomes, if you're Dylan Wallace and you've been wearing the number 8 jersey all this time, you switch to 65 tonight, you get a pick 6 touchdown. Do you try to tell the coach you don't want to go back? Obviously, I say that somewhat jokingly. Wallace will have to change his number if he moves back to tight end. It's one of those situations, if you are playing a skill position, you can have the lower number. If you're going to play on the line, you need to have a number in the 50s or above. But certainly that 65 seems to be doing well for him, as Cedarcrest is going to call a timeout. We'll keep it here with 5:37 to go. Quite a few people still watching this game tonight. We appreciate you for being on here with us. Gives us a chance to try to look online here to try to get a few other scores. Oh, Superfan John wants me to correct myself. I mentioned that he was over at the stadium watching the Edmonds Woodway Shorecrest game. Of course, John, I know you weren't. You were at home watching safely, so thank you for pointing that out, and thank you for the score update again. John Richard giving us the score earlier of the game that took place between Edmonds Woodway and Shorecrest, a game that Edmonds Woodway won 23-13. So in fact, don't want to lead anybody on to thinking that he was doing anything unsafe. Definitely watching from home. And John, appreciate you for tuning in tonight. Just got a final score on the Cascade Jackson game. Apparently the score I gave earlier was in progress, but now it is a final. Cascade defeating Jackson 47-7. Over at Everett Memorial Stadium. And that was the other 8 o'clock game tonight, so we might be the only game still in progress as far as Snohomish County is concerned. Knowles drops back over the middle. Thrown a little bit low, but doing a nice job of coming down with that is Luke Marsh. Shoestring catch there for 9 yards. It's going to bring up a 4th and perhaps a yard right now. And we did get a penalty that came in after the play, so let's see what this is here. Neither team wants to see this. On 4th and 1, if you're Mountlake Terrace, you'd give them an automatic first down with a penalty. If you're Cedarcrest, almost inevitably force your team to punt here rather than perhaps go for it. They might punt either way at this point with a 2-possession lead and 5:20 showing on the clock.
Unsportsmanlike against the defense, 15-yard penalty. That player's ejected.
Unsportsmanlike penalty against the defense. Player ejected. Demarion Turner, number 55, has been tossed out of the game. And there's a second flag that just got tossed. And I hate to say it, but that might have been against the... I'm not going to keep mentioning the player by name, but I think that might have been his second. As when he initially heard that news, he tried to go back out onto the field, and a couple of coaches had to stop him, and he continued to yell and continue to shout in the direction of the officials and the opposing team. So perhaps he just picked up another 15 yards. So rather than Cedarcrest having the ball at the 30-yard line on a 4th and 1, they're going to get a first down. And they're going to get a first down 30 yards down the field as the official marks off the first 15 yards, pauses, and then walks again for another 15 yards. So 2 penalties, 30-yard gain on that play. Cedarcrest now with the ball at the Mountlake Terrace 40-yard line. And certainly Mountlake Terrace not out of this game yet, but the odds of them getting back into it just went down drastically after that. 4th and 1, it would have been curious to see would Cedarcrest have punted at that point. Again, you don't want to give Mountlake Terrace the ball deep in their own territory there with a 2-score game. Hawks might have been getting ready to get that ball back. I can't imagine Cedarcrest would have gone for it at their own 30. So no doubt, not only do you not get the ball back, you give them a new set of downs, and you get the ball 30 yards down the field. Fumble on the play. Ball continues to roll around. Have not seen a signal yet from the referees, and finally Cedarcrest gets back on the football. Another potential break for the Hawks. A situation averted for Cedarcrest. Is Burpee able to come away with that ball? Mountlake Terrace almost getting a give-me on that play.
Loss of the yard. Ball spotted at the Terrace, 41-yard line. Second down and 11.
Second down and 11 coming up. Pass deep down the right sideline. Going up, Waldrop Leathers knocking the ball away. Nice defensive play there. Interesting play by Cedarcrest, trying to go for apparently trying to end the game right there with a touchdown on a long bomb rather than let the clock tick. Luke Marsh, the wide receiver, intended on the play. Perhaps thinking they could get the Hawks off guard there on a 2nd and 11. Hawks not falling for it, though. It's going to be 3rd and 11 from the 41-yard line coming up next. Handoff. Burpee out to the 36-yard line. Gain of 5. Keeps the clock running. Unofficially, I've got Burpee at 22 carries tonight. All unofficial, 22 carries for 93 yards is what I've got him down for. 4th and 6 coming up. Mountlake Terrace with 2 timeouts remaining. They're going to let the clock tick here. Cedarcrest keeping the offense out on the field. Any chance the Hawks have of making this a game, they need to get the ball back right here. And Cedarcrest finally electing to call a timeout. They've got 1 remaining after this with 3:32 to go. So again, Cedarcrest fans, next week, got a matchup against Marysville Getchell, a home game, 7 p.m. start time. I understand that you've been using a streaming system there as well, so hopefully your fans will be able to watch that game, and we wish you guys all the best moving forward. Mountlake Terrace again, the next 2 Friday nights, they'll be over at Shoreline Stadium. They take on the Shoreline School District schools. Cedsrcrest next week, Shorewood the week after. And continuing to try to look at some scores here as we go along. It might just take us a minute here to get in through the Wi-Fi here. Again, 4th down coming up for Cedarcrest. Kind of in that spot on the field where nothing really to lose. Could technically punt it and try to push Terrace back a little bit. Hey, you're already at the 36-yard line. At this point, you might as well go for it, trying to convert the 1st down and really start to salt this game away. By the way, just got a final score on the Lakewood Everett score. Lakewood, who defeated Marysville Getchell last week 69-0. Tonight they beat Everett 77-21. And we get another penalty. This one called from the back judge. Delay of game on Cedarcrest. That'll push the ball back 5 yards. Now they're going to send the punt team on with 3:32 to go. So Lakewood, that is 146 points in their first 2 games of the season. Nicely done by them. Again, Dan Teeter, the head coach over at Lakewood, you're not going to find a finer gentleman in the sport of football around this area. Does some tremendous work up there at Lakewood High School. So congratulations to him and his squad. A good group of guys, too, this year that they've got. And that's Jay Newell with the punt. Does a nice job to have that one drop right at the 9-yard line and just came to a complete stop almost. Those are usually the balls where you wonder if they're going to roll into the end zone. Not this time. So Mountlake Terrace taking over at their own 9-yard line, 91 yards away from the goal line, down by 2 scores, 3:23 to go. So the question becomes, if you're Cedarcrest, do you keep playing your usual defense or do you go prevent mode a little bit? Maybe let Mountlake Terrace have the underneath stuff. If they want to chip away 5 or 10 yards at a time, do so knowing that the clock's going to continue to run on them. Other final scores. Arlington did beat Stanwood tonight, 17-14, so they keep the streak going in the Stilly Cup. Marysville Pilchuck winning the Berry Bowl over Marysville Getchell tonight, 49-21. So Getchell another year without being able to beat their rival. Jay Nath over the middle, 20-yard line, looking to cut out to the left. Momentarily got the sideline there and finally brought down by Burpee after a gain of, well, let's see, what are we going to call this? We're going to call this a gain of 19 yards on the play. So kind of wondered about this. Will Cedarcrest say, you know what, if you want to just dink and dunk a little bit over the middle on the sides, it's your call. You're going to move down the field, but it's going to cost you some time on that clock. This is where those missed conversions earlier really hurt you. If you had one of those even, if you were down by even 8 points and 7 would have been even better, you'd be within 1 score. And perhaps you'd make Cedarcrest feel like you're a little more of a threat at this point. Ball is intercepted. Ball is getting returned all the way back for the end zone. Touchdown, Cedarcrest. And guess who? Mom's going to like this one. Kyle Stoopful. And if Mom hadn't said it earlier, I wouldn't even know this. Kyle Stoopful, who's listed on my program as number 40. Mom jumped in on the comments earlier, said, no, he's wearing number 64 tonight. Stoopful with the interception, and he takes it back to the house, pretty much icing this game. Cedarcrest all but looking at their first victory of the year as they go up 27-12 with 3:03 left on the clock. Waldrop Leathers firing that ball over the middle. Stoopful just waiting for it. Sat back there nicely, picked it off, and let his wheels do the rest. A lot of Kyle love there right now in the comments. Like to see that for players when the family's watching and friends. Newell's kick is up. It is good. And Mountlake Terrace, they were already down by 9. Now they're down by 16. Now, keep in mind, that's still technically a 2-possession game. You could get 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. Okay, I'm stretching it a little bit here, trying to make it more interesting than maybe it is. But nonetheless, you're still technically within 2 scores here with 3:03 to go. And Cedarcrest getting it done offensively and defensively tonight. The second pick 6 of the game for them. 3rd interception for a touchdown overall for these 2 teams combined tonight. So I don't know if Mother Stupeful's even still watching or not. Perhaps a 9-point game. Maybe she tuned out for a little, but I have a feeling she's probably on there somewhere. See, these chats are a good thing, keeping us going here, keeping us on our toes. As of course, I immediately, as soon as he starts running down the side, I'm like, who's 64 again? And then it dawned on me we had a little conversation, if you will, on here at halftime, and she gave us all the info on Ethan and Kyle changing numbers. So, Deb Stupeful, thank you very much for the knowledge. I hope you enjoyed watching Kyle take that one back to the house. Mountlake Terrace on the return. Start this all over again at the 30. John Madigan on the tackle there, number 35. Getting his name called out one more time. The inquiring minds want to know, was Deb Stupeful watching? Did she see the play? We haven't seen a comment yet. Perhaps. I think she'll hear about it later if she's not watching. 2:57 left on the clock. Here comes the blitz. Waldrop drops the ball. He looked like he tried to throw it forward. What are the referees going to call, however? The ball's still on the ground. Finally picked up by somebody. Matthew Weinert chasing down Waldrop Leathers from behind. I think Waldrop Leathers just panicked. It looked like he tried to flip the ball forward. Of course, we don't have instant replay like you do in the NFL and college, so referees maybe not seeing that. Called it a fumble. And it looks like Mountlake Terrace does fall on it. However, on the play, they lose 6 yards. That's going to push them back there to the 25-yard line. Clock continuing to run. 2:15 showing right now. Hawks, they're going to need a miracle at this point, so let's see what they can do here. Looking like they're going to be going 0-2 on the season. Cedarcrest looking like they're going to pick up their first victory. Oh, there we go. There's Mama Stupeful. She's watching. Deb Stupeful and getting a little exclamation mark at the end of the night there with Kyle's touchdown. I think you're going to get a happy football player returning home later on this evening. All 6'2", 227 pounds of him. And we get one more timeout here. Mountlake Terrace still showing one timeout left on the board here with 2:03 to go. Nice job by the Cedarcrest staff, just kind of looking over the roster here. Is Jonas Lawson, the offensive coordinator, Pete Hartzell, defensive coordinator, Tom Shannon, the JV head coach, assistant running back coach, JJ Suman, assistant coach, coaches the quarterbacks, Brandon Savage, offensive line, Jeff Gertie, special teams, Jared Norris, wide receivers, Jesse Prune, wide receiver, Matt Mayer, defensive line, Eric Kavanaugh, defensive line and offensive line, Dan Engel, the manager. It's going to be a nice ride home to Duval tonight after this 28-12 victory. Always nice to get your first victory of the season, too. Waldrop Leathers trying to guide the offense, pointing downfield, finally throws, looking for Nath, caught at the 45 and dropped. They're going to say that it was incomplete. Nath had his back to us up here in the booth, so I couldn't tell if he was bobbling it or not. It certainly looked like he took a football move. So it almost could have been called a fumble. However, the referees are going to say he never caught it to begin with. So we'll move that one back. 3rd down and 16. Okay, 3rd and 16, 25-yard line. 1:53 to go here in the game. Throw it into the flat. A little bit of contact there. They're going to say incidental. As though Nath and Mayer got their feet tangled up a little bit there. Nath wanting a call. Official saying, no, we can't give you that one. So this is it. 4th and 16 coming up right now. Any hope that Mountlake Terrace has at all of getting on the board one more time or even trying to have a chance to get back in this game? It all comes down to this one play right here. Trip set out for the Hawks. Need to get to the 41-yard line to keep it alive. Penalty markers thrown. Knapp catches it out in the flat. 5-yard gain. Let's see what the call is here. See, one Mountlake Terrace player, Tonga, number 77, had his helmet off. I don't know if that was taken off by another player or not. They're going to call a personal foul on the defense, keeping Mountlake Terrace slim hopes alive here. And this game will wrap up all the games in this area tonight anyway. A few games tomorrow, I think further on the south end. Had an interesting interview last night on our radio show. I co-host the Prep Sports Weekly show on 1380 KRKO every Thursday night. And we had the starting quarterback for Fife High School on last night, the Trojans down on the south end. We normally do broadcasting and we normally interview folks in the Snohomish County area. So why did we go down to Fife? Because the Fife Trojans are 2-0 this year. They're undefeated. And their starting quarterback is a young lady by the name of Brenna Nixon. Female starting quarterback doing a fantastic job down there. They've outscored their opponents so far this year 61-12, and Brenna Nixon doing a nice job. So good to see a little inspiration and one of the young ladies out there showing that it's not just the boys' game. They can get it done too. And hopefully maybe some other young ladies around the area keeping an eye on what she's doing, and perhaps they want to go down that same road one of these days themselves. 1st down and 10 for the Hawks, throwing it out into the flats. And we're going to get a pick here. It is, in fact, intercepted. Intercepted, guess who? Luke Amble already had a pick 6. Or no, actually, it looks like number 3, perhaps. Oh, it was Amble. Okay, I saw everybody giving high fives to Caleb Mayer for a moment there, but it was Amble who came away with the interception. His 2nd of the game. First one, of course, came right at the end of the first half. That one he took back to the house for 38 yards. This one, well, he was already sitting on his tail there, so he just had to make the catch. And really all there is to do now for Cedarcrest, take a couple snaps, drop down to a knee if you want to, and we can all get on out of here. 28-12 appears to be what's going to be our final score tonight. And unless we get a fluke touchdown for one of the teams here, stay tuned. And it looks as though Deuce Knowles is going to go the distance. He is still in at quarterback. Maybe I should hold off on that score prediction here for the final, as they are, in fact, running play still. Chester Brackenbush getting a carry. I think that's his 2nd carry of the night. Sam Howe, number 9, getting a tackle there, the junior. Going to give Brackenbush an 8-yard gain. 49 seconds left here. Potentially the last play of the game. They might have to snap it a second time here, depending on when they snap this ball. Brackenbush, another carry. This time not going to find any room to run. Tackled in the backfield there. He tries to sweep outside. Landon Woolley, he's not giving up on playing yet. He comes up and makes a huge tackle. Cedarcrest in a position to where they don't have to snap the ball again now. The game clock is down lower than the play clock, so they can essentially walk over to the sideline and get on out of here unless they want to snap it for any reason. And let's see what they do here. Nope. Players are starting to shake hands. We've seen some good sportsmanship out there finally after a little bit of a situation there a few minutes back. So that's good to see. So Cedarcrest, Mountlake Terrace showing sportsmanship, showing respect, and we have seen this clock tick away to triple zeros. And that's the final here from Edmond Stadium. Cedarcrest, the Red Wolves, getting their first victory of the season tonight. They defeat the Mountlake Terrace Hawks 28-12 as the players are out there. Don't think we're going to get any handshakes, as we've been trying to stay away from that with the pandemic here. Tom Davis making the final announcements. And once again, our final score, Cedarcrest 28, Mountlake Terrace 12. The Red Wolves going to 1-1 on the season. Mountlake Terrace dropping to 0-2. Don't forget, doubleheader again back here next Friday, 5 p.m. start time. Also got a doubleheader of soccer coming up starting at 5:30 on Thursday if you want to tune into that. So we've got you covered from all angles here at the Edmond School District. trying to give you coverage of not only Edmonds Woodway, Linwood Meadowdale, and Mountlake Terrace. We're also trying to give coverage to our other Wesco teams. So thank you for the Cedarcrest audience for tuning in tonight. Congratulations to your team for the victory. We wish everybody, football players, parents, anybody else who's here tonight, a safe travel home, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Steve Willits, and for everybody here on the HBN crew, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.
Clear.